ॐ स्थापकाय च धर्मस्य सर्वधर्मस्वरूपिणे अवतारवरिष्ठाय रामकृष्णाय ते नमः. Namaskar to all of you. Welcome to the study of the lives of household devotees of Sri Ramakrishna. From today, we will start the life of one of the householder disciple of Sri Ramakrishna, that is Navagopal Ghosh and Nistharini Ghosh. If you find a companion who is good, wise, and loving, walk with him all the way and overcome all dangers, said Buddha. What a beautiful statement. If you find a companion who is good, wise, and loving, walk with him all the way and overcome all dangers, said Buddha in the Dhammapada. And if you do not find a good companion, then leave alone and walk alone like an elephant in the forest. It is not easy to live alone in this world. Only a person of renunciation who possesses nothing can move about freely and fearlessly. Even when people go on pilgrimage, they usually travel with others for safety and convenience. In the spiritual journey, it is God's grace when a husband and wife have the same nature, same interest, and same goal. For the seekers of God, it is a great boon to have harmony and peace in family life. Spiritual life requires a good environment, mental serenity, and holy association. Therefore, a couple possessing mutual love, respect, and trust, they progress faster spiritually. So it's a very rare blessing that in the householder's life, either the husband or the wife, they are very lucky if they get their partner to be of the same wavelength, of the same interest, and that too in the spiritual life. If both are interested, then it is very easy for them to go forward in spiritual life. They can progress faster. So it's only God's grace. Navgopal Ghosh and his wife Nistarini were blessed with a harmonious marriage. They had several children. Both went to see Sri Ramakrishna with Kishori Mohan Roy, a devotee from Krishnanagar, sometime in 1882. On their first visit, the master asked for their names and inquired where they lived. Then Sri Ramakrishna advised Navagopal to sing Kirtan every day. The couple returned home and they did not visit Sri Ramakrishna again for 3 years. But Navagopal, following the instructions of the master, he sang Kirtan every day with his family using a drum and cymbal. The drum In Bengal, they use the khol for kirtan. Later on, the tabla, other things, pakwas are also added. Generally, for the kirtan, it is the drum is khol and cymbals karatala. So, though Navagopal met Sri Ramakrishna and got the instruction that he should sing the name of the Lord, kirtans, every day, he followed that instructions meticulously, and all the 3 years he used to sing kirtans every day with drums and cymbals. Sri Ramakrishna remembered Navagopal, and one day in 1885, when Kishori arrived at Dakshineshwar, Sri Ramakrishna asked Kishori, "Hello, how is that person who came here with you 3 years ago? He lives in Badur Bagan. He is a big officer and he gives medicine free to the poor people. If you see him, please ask him to visit me at least once." Hearing about Sri Ramakrishna's inquiry from Kishori, Navagopal was delighted and amazed. Ramakrishna remembering me. He thought, Sri Ramakrishna is respected by all and is considered to be an avatar. Yet, he remembers an insignificant person like me even after a long time. The Master's compassion brought tears to Navagopal's eyes. The following Sunday, Navagopal went to Dakshineshwar with his wife and children. Sri Ramakrishna asked him why he had not visited sooner. Navagopal replied that his family responsibilities did not allow him much time. Nevertheless, he had followed Sri Ramakrishna's instruction and daily glorified the name of God by singing Kirtan during the last 3 years. Now, after hearing these things, Sri Ramakrishna assured him that he would not have to be confined to any more preparatory devotion. Then he advised Navagopal to visit him 3 more times, saying that it would be enough for him to attain the higher realm of bhakti devotion. So that was Navagopal's connection with Sri Ramakrishna. This great devotee of Sri Ramakrishna, Navagopal Ghosh, was born in 1832 in the village of Begumpur, Howrah, Bengal. He was a high official of the Henderson Company and earned 300 rupees a month. 300 rupees a month during the British rule in India was a huge amount. So he was a high official in the Henderson Company. His strong body was of dark complexion and his face radiated joy. He was very simple, generous, and he was devoted to God. After the death of two wives, Navagopal had married Nistarani. Gradually, Sri Ramakrishna and Navagopal's family became very close, and Navagopal began to visit Dakshineshwar frequently. The master was very fond of Nistarani's children, especially one child called Suresh, who was a good singer and also a drum player, even at the age of 6. So, this Suresh, the son of Navagopal and Nistarani, even at the age of 6, this boy Suresh was a very good singer and also a drum player, that is khol. So Sri Ramakrishna was very fond of this child Suresh. During this period, devotees often arranged festivals to their Calcutta homes on Sundays and invited Sri Ramakrishna and other devotees. They would hire a singer and musicians to entertain the master and would prepare a sumptuous feast. Once, Navagopal expressed a desire to arrange such a festival, and the master agreed to visit his home. Navagopal arranged everything according to the instructions of Ramachandra Datta, who among the devotees had the most experience in arranging festivals. Navagopal decorated his worship hall and engaged a scholar to read and explain the Bhagavatam. As soon as Sri Ramakrishna arrived, the scholar stopped reading, and Banori, a Vaishnava singer stationed in the courtyard, started to sing Sri Krishna's Kirtan. The master had been seated in the worship hall, but he suddenly jumped up and rushed to the courtyard and stood near the singer and the musicians in the pose of Lord Krishna. With his flute in his hand, Sri Ramakrishna was in deep samadhi. Navagopal bought a long garland for the master, which he placed around his neck. The garland had a lovely fragrance and was so long that it touched Sri Ramakrishna's feet. Other devotees encircled Master and sang Kirtan in chorus. Some of them started experiencing ecstatic bhava samadhi. When Sri Ramakrishna returned to the normal plane of consciousness, Sri Ramakrishna took his seat, but the ecstatic mood continued. At that time, Ramachandra Datta told Navagopal to ask Master for a boon. Navagopal prostrated himself before Sri Ramakrishna and said, Master, I am drowned in worldliness. Kindly tell me how I may get out of it. So now Sri Ramakrishna replied, Don't worry, replied the Master. Now, very rarely Sri Ramakrishna used to tell about himself. Now, this is an occasion where Sri Ramakrishna is telling, Remember me once a day if you can do nothing else. So, how? What was the question? Can you go back to the question and find out what was the question of Navagopal Ghosh? First of all, Ramachandra Datta asked Navagopal to go to Ramakrishna and ask a boon. Now, what boon did Navagopal ask Sri Ramakrishna? He told, Oh Master, I am drowned in worldliness. Kindly tell me how I may get out of this worldliness. Now, when Navagopal Ghosh asked Sri Ramakrishna how he could get out of the worldliness, Sri Ramakrishna told, Don't worry, be fearless, don't worry, replied the Master. Remember me once a day if you can do nothing else. So the question was how Navagopal, or all of us, including all of us, now this is a question for us. This is a question asked by us to Sri Ramakrishna. And what is that? How we may get out of this world, the worldliness. We are drowned in the worldliness. How can all of us get out of this worldliness? And Sri Ramakrishna is replying, the answer is, if you want to get out of worldliness, remember me. If you remember Ramakrishna, if you meditate on Ramakrishna, once a day, if you can do nothing else, if you remember me once a day, you can come out of this worldliness easily. So we have got wonderful solution. If we have this question, how we can come out of worldliness? If people are not interested in coming out of worldliness, if they want to stay in this worldliness, nothing to worry. But if you want the remedy, if you want to come out of worldliness, then Ramakrishna has given the remedy. What is that? Remember me. That is, remember Ramakrishna once a day if you can do nothing else. If you can remember him always, wonderful. I always remember one of the statements of Sri Ramakrishna before my meditation. And what is that? Somehow or other, whatever you may do, Sri Ramakrishna tells us, focus your mind on me and you can get everything, anything and everything. These are the words of Sri Ramakrishna. So that will help us to meditate. So somehow or other, whatever way you try to focus, remember Ramakrishna. And that is the way how you can get out of the worldliness, not only getting out of the worldliness, but you can get everything in spiritual life. Ramakrishna himself has uttered these things. So before meditation, I remember so many things told by Holy Mother about Sri Ramakrishna, and in the end, I think of what Sri Ramakrishna himself has told about himself. Somehow or other, do whatever you may. Focus your mind on Sri Ramakrishna. Focus on me. Ramakrishna is telling, focus on me. Remember me. Once a day, if you can do nothing else, that will bring you out of worldliness. But if you want to progress well, if you want to get real God realization, Atma Sakshatkara, then remember Ramakrishna more and more. Meditate, you will get everything. Somehow or other. That was the statement of Sri Ramakrishna. Navagopal then saw when Sri Ramakrishna told, remember me once a day if you can do nothing else. Then Navagopal then saw a glowing light on the face of the master. At first he thought it was an optical illusion. So he went to wash his eyes, to rub his eyes, to clear out the illusion if that was an illusion. Navagopal was seeing glowing light on the face of Sri Ramakrishna. First he thought that it was an optical illusion and he went to wash his eyes. But again he saw the same light. Amazed, Navagopal asked his brother Jai Gopal whether he saw anything unusual in Sri Ramakrishna. So Jai Gopal told no, he looks just as usual, replied his brother. At last Navagopal realized that Sri Ramakrishna, purely out of his mercy, had shown only him, only Navagopal, his divine luminous form. So he is a very lucky man. Due to his mercy and grace, Ramakrishna had shown Navagopal his divine luminous form. It's only the grace of the Lord. So Ramakrishna, out of mercy towards Navagopal, he showed his luminous form. In the meantime, Nistarani Devi had prepared dinner for the master and escorted him to the inner apartment to feed Sri Ramakrishna. Many women devotees were present and they took the dust of Sri Ramakrishna's feet. So taking the dust of master's feet is, generally in India the custom is, we touch the place where great people, the elderly people are standing and take the dust after touching the feet, the dust of the place where they were standing. Then they put it on their head or they touch their eyes. So that is the custom. So here, all the women devotees who had gathered there in the inner apartment, generally in those days there was this parda system. Women devotees would be inside in the inner apartment and there would be a curtain closing it. So the male members would sit outside. They would not, all the members except the owner of the house would not enter into the inner apartment. But because Sri Ramakrishna was a special Vatara. Now they used to take him into the inner apartments. So escorted now Nistarani Devi and Navagopal escorted him into the inner apartment. Many women devotees who had assembled there, who were present there, they took the dust of Sri Ramakrishna's feet. The master sat on a seat on the floor. So in those days, squatting and taking food on the ground was a tradition. Nowadays, because of the Western influence of the British, even in India you can see the table and chair. So now the master sat on the seat on the floor and Nisarani Devi served one dish after another. She bought the master's favorite sandesh. It's one of the sweets made out of the paneer, chana. The milk is heated. Then, while heating, you pour a drop of, sorry for that, excuse me, Jai Ramakrishna. So, pour a drop of lemon or some other things which can coagulate, break the milk. So, the water and the essence of the milk will be separated. So, then that is filtered, water is taken away, and what remains, that's called paneer or chana. Out of that, in Bengal, they make lot of sweets. The famous one is rasgulla, which is made out of this paneer. The cheese ball, it's called. So it is soaked. After that, after frying, it will be soaked in the sugar syrup. That is rasgulla, rasamalai, rajbog. So many other things are there. So now here there is another sweet with that paneer. Instead of frying or if instead of doing anything, after the chana or the paneer is made, then nicely press it and make into different shapes, adding with sugar and some other fragrant things. Then that is called sandesh. The name of that sweet is called sandesh. So literally, the meaning in Sanskrit sandesh means message, good message or good news. But here that is sweet. So out of that paneer or that milk which is broken, coagulated, and the water is removed by adding the lemon hot into the hot milk. Then they filter the water and make this solid thing. They nicely add sugar and press it nicely with the sugar. Then they put it into different molds, make shapes. So that's called sandesh. That sweet is called sandesh. So Ramakrishna's one of the favorite sweet was sandesh too. So she bought Sri Ramakrishna's Jai Ramakrishna. Sri Ramakrishna's favorite sandesh sweet. A desire came to Nistarani Devi in her mind to feed Sri Ramakrishna sweets with her own hands. When that desire arose in her mind, immediately Sri Ramakrishna read her thought. He could read the mind, he could see the inner mind of everybody. So now Ramakrishna, reading her thought, said, what? You want to feed me with your own hand? After a pause, he smiled and told her, all right, feed me. Saying so, Sri Ramakrishna opened his mouth. As Nistarani put a sweet into the mouth of Sri Ramakrishna, she saw that a mysterious being, Kundalini, or the serpent power, that gulped the sweet down. Becoming frightened, she stopped feeding the master. Sri Ramakrishna slowly ate by himself and then gave the prasad to Nistarani. She felt reluctant to eat anything before feeding her other guests, but when Sri Ramakrishna persuaded her to partake of the prasad, she obeyed and sent the remaining prasad downstairs. The news of what Nistarani Devi had the vision of the Kundalini power, the serpent power, coming through the mouth of Sri Ramakrishna and consuming that sweet which she had offered to Sri Ramakrishna, when that news spread to all the people there, Sri Ramakrishna's mouth, Nisarani could see that serpent power, the Kundalini. It spread quickly among the devotees, and immediately there arose a loud uproar among them, and they all shared the prasad of Sri Ramakrishna. Hearing this noise, the master told Nisarani that he had asked her to take the prasad first because he knew that after it was offered to the guest, there would be none left for her. Then Sri Ramakrishna went downstairs and the singer sang some more songs. Nistarani felt very much free with Sri Ramakrishna, a very rare trait in spiritual life. This feeling of freedom originates from simplicity, purity, and unselfishness. As you move forward towards God, then you get all these qualities. When your mind becomes purer and purer, when you do more sadhana, you become more simple. And what is the hallmark and what is the symptom of your simplicity? The first hallmark, the first symptom is you become fearless, you become free. Because of your purity of the mind, you become like a child. So, you know that, do you remember Ramakrishna telling all the devotees? If you want to go towards God, you should not have shame, fear, and aversion. So that simplicity can bring all these qualities in you. So here Nisarani had this wonderful quality of simplicity and purity. So this feeling of freedom was there. Nisarani felt very free with Sri Ramakrishna. A rare trait in spiritual life. The feeling of freedom originates from simplicity, purity, love, bhakti, and unselfishness. God loves to play with these free souls because they do not bother him with worldly desires. So the devotees who ask for God only for the worldly desire, yes, the Lord will give them, but he cannot be free with them. He will not play his leela with them. But the pure devotees who doesn't want anything from God, they want just pure devotion to God. So with such devotees, bhaktas, the Lord plays his leela. If you want to have, play with them. So God loves to play with these free souls because they do not, what is the reason? Because they do not bother him with worldly desires. Sri Ramakrishna said of this Nistarani Devi, she is a great soul. She is a partial incarnation of one of the 10 forms of Divine Mother. She is the partial incarnation of one of the 10 forms of Divine Mother. You know, Divine Mother manifests herself in different 10 forms, Dasha Mahavidya. So, amongst the Dasha Mahavidya, Ramakrishna used to tell Nisarani Devi was one of the partial incarnation of one of the 10 forms of Divine Mother. On another occasion, the Master said, through the influence of this wife, Nisarani Devi, Navagopal escaped from Maya. Because of her devotion, because of her great sadhana, Navagopal Ghosh escaped Maya. Otherwise, if she would not be spiritual, if she would be worldly, then how could Navagopal move forward in spiritual life? He would have gone down. So Ramakrishna is mentioning that she was so great. She had so much of Vidya Maya in her, the Vidya Maya, not the Vidya. So that Vidya was there, the grace of God. She is a great soul. Ramakrishna himself is mentioning about Nisarani Devi. She is a great soul. She is a partial incarnation of one of the 10 forms of the Divine Mother, Dashamahavidya. On another occasion, Sri Ramakrishna said, through the influence of his wife, she was the source of all spirituality to the husband and the children. So she would not allow them to sink in the worldliness. She would always help the husband and the children to go towards God. So Ramakrishna used to tell through the influence of his wife, Nisarani Devi, Navagopal escaped from Maya. Otherwise, they are the people who can pull them down to worldly level and they will not allow them to go up in the rung or the ladder of spiritual life. The master was very fond of Nistarani Devi and he would allow her to touch his feet. Later, Nisarani Devi herself narrated some incidents that occurred during her association with the master. When I would come, he would send all the gentlemen out of the room, and Sri Ramakrishna used to talk to me alone. Once, Sri Ramakrishna asked me why I came, what I found in him to draw me so often to Dakshineshwar. Ramakrishna asked this question, why did she come to Dakshineshwar? Why did she come to him, Ramakrishna? And what is that is forcing her to come here to Dakshineshwar? So, why are you coming so often to Dakshineshwar? To which Nisarani Devi replied, Master, it is hard to explain that which made Prahalada forget his father. That attraction of Narayana which made Prahalada to forget his own father. Dhruva also forgot his family and went to do tapasya because of Lord Narayana. And others forgot their parents. And that Narayana, that Lord, I find in you. I find here in you. That is why I am so much attracted to come to you. That's why I come to Dakshineshwar frequently. A friend had told me I should chant Hari Bol, repeat the name of the Lord. Hari Bol means repeat the name of the Lord. And I did so. But it caused great perplexity in my mind. Here I am calling upon Hari, I said to myself, and yet I am told that one should seek salvation through the Guru alone. I went to the Dakshineshwar to Sri Ramakrishna to see Sri Ramakrishna. But before I could explain my trouble, Sri Ramakrishna told Guru and Hari are one and the same. Guru and Hari are one and the same. So, what was the confusion which was raging in our mind? A friend of Nisarani had told her that that Nisarani should chant Hari Bol, repeat the name of the Lord Hari. And I did so, but it caused a great perplexity in my mind. Here I should seek salvation through the Guru alone, and I am just taken that Hari Bol and I am repeating the name of the Hari. So to clear that doubt and confusion, she went to Dakshineshwar to Sri Ramakrishna. But even before Nisarani Devi could explain any her trouble to Sri Ramakrishna himself told. What is that? Guru and Hari are one and the same. And also you should remember Guru and Shiva are also one and the same. That's why what is that mantra? Guru Brahma, Guru Vishnu, Guru Devo Maheshwara, Guru Sakshat Param Brahma, Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha. So Guru and Hari are one and the same. So these were the words Ramakrishna himself told unasked for the doubt which was persisting in her mind. So that was immediately cleared by Sri Ramakrishna with that word Guru and Hari are one. On another occasion, Nistarani was amazed to see Sri Ramakrishna's power of mimicry. Ramakrishna could do wonderful mimicry. So the way he used to mimic other people, when the direct disciples, as young or youthful direct disciples at that time, who would become sannyas and disciples, when Ramakrishna used to joke and play mimicry, the mimicry, excuse me, Jai Ramakrishna, the mimicry would be so natural, mimicking other people or animals, that all those young disciples would laugh and laugh at the mimicry, and they couldn't contain their laughter. They used to fall down on the ground, catch hold of their stomach, and laugh. That was the way Sri Ramakrishna used to mimic. He was expert in mimicry. He was expert in telling jokes. He was very humorous. Now, on another occasion, Nisarani was amazed to see Sri Ramakrishna's power of mimicry. That day, Sri Ramakrishna had dressed himself in a sari, women's apparel, sari, women's cloth, and put on bangles and jewels. He then acted just like a young wife, begging her husband for more jewels. For an hour or more, Sri Ramakrishna kept up the fun. So he imitated the young woman in such a way that went on for an hour. He acted just like a young wife begging her husband for more jewels. For an hour or more, Sri Ramakrishna mimicked and showed all of them who were there. So Nisaranidev became amazed at that wonderful quality of mimicking. On another occasion, Nistarani knew that Sri Ramakrishna was omniscient. What is it? Omniscient, all knowing. Sarvagnatva, all knowing, omniscient. Nisarani knew that Sri Ramakrishna was omniscient, Sarvagna, and that he answered the sincere prayers of devotees. He would answer the sincere prayers, not just superfluous or prayer, mechanical prayer, but the sincere prayer. Ramakrishna would immediately respond. So Nisarani knew that Master was omniscient and that he answered the sincere prayers of devotees. So if you pray to Sri Ramakrishna, your sincere prayers will be heard. As a youth, I used to come to the temple. Ramakrishna is sitting in the Garbhagriha in the Sanctum Sanctorum. So after the puja, they will put the grill door so that nobody will enter the shrine. So as a volunteer, as a youth, in my college days, I used to come, I used to see, catching hold of that grill, the Swami, another Swami, doing puja to Sri Ramakrishna. I was so impressed seeing that. I prayed to Sri Ramakrishna that I too want to sit there and do your puja. Immediately the next year, Ramakrishna made me join the order as a monastic member. And the very first job I got was to do puja to Sri Ramakrishna. I sat on the same seat in the same shrine and started doing puja. So if the prayer is sincere, Sri Ramakrishna answers it very quickly. Nisarani Devi knew that and she is telling. So Nisarani Devi knew that Sri Ramakrishna was omniscient and that he answered the sincere prayers of devotees. So only the prayer should be sincere. It should not be mechanical. It should come from the heart. So she described the following incidents. To Sister Devamata, Laura Glenn, an American devotee. One Sunday, we were all at Dakshineshwar. A poor woman came bringing 4 rasgullas. The poor woman, since she was very poor, she had purchased 4 rasgullas with great difficulty. Sweet, juicy cheese ball. I just now told how to prepare the rasgulla. So that chana or the paneer is made out of the milk. Milk is heated. While it is heating and it's boiling, you have to put a drop of lemon or some other things for that milk to get separated. It becomes paneer. So then you have to filter it. Water is to be removed. And after that, you have to nicely roll, press it, just like we make the dough. So it has to be nicely pressed, then rolled into balls that will be fried in the oil. And there will be sugar syrup ready or syrup made out of the jaggery. So you dip that cheese ball, the fried cheese ball, the fried paneer ball into that sugar syrup. It absorbs nicely and then becomes very soft. If you want, you can add some flavor, paneer, something to the syrup, and it will be very full of taste and fragrance. It's very popular Bengali dish, that is rasagulla. So gulla is balls, the cheese ball. Rasam is syrup. The literal meaning of rasa is juice or essence. So now that poor lady, that poor old woman had bought 4 rasgullas. She was very poor. She couldn't afford money. So just she bought only 4 rasgullas. Now she wanted to that Ramakrishna should eat it. She had bought it for the master. But to her dismay, to her surprise, the room was full of devotees. And all the men devotees were sitting there, and so many things were happening. She dared not enter the room of Ramakrishna to offer them to him. She went now because she couldn't go inside. So many men were there. She couldn't go to Ramakrishna. So she went. What did she do? She went to Mother Sharda Devi. She went to Mother Sharda Devi's veranda Nahabat and began to weep bitterly that she had come so far and now she must go away without seeing the master or feeding him, giving her poor present which she had bought. She was very sad, so she started crying after going towards Nahabat in the veranda. We knew too that to bring even these 4 rasgullas meant a great sacrifice for that old poor lady. Suddenly, while she was weeping, thus weeping there, sitting in the veranda near Nahabat, here inside the room, in the Dakshineshwar, inside the room, Guru Maharaj Sri Ramakrishna, he was pulled by some special attraction. He stopped all that conversation with so many people there. He came out, he asked for time and came out of the room, came in search of this lady who was weeping for Ramakrishna. So Sri Ramakrishna, Guru Maharaj, appeared on the round veranda overlooking the river. He stood for a few minutes gazing at the Ganga. Then he came down the steps and walked quickly towards Holy Mother Sharda Devi's house, Nahabat. When he entered the veranda, he looked hither and thither as if searching for someone. Then, seeing this poor woman, he went to her and said, "Oh, Mother, I am feeling very hungry. Can you give me something to eat?" The woman, in great joy, she had now Sri Ramakrishna himself coming to her, and not only that, he is asking something to eat, that he is hungry. So, what a great grace, what a mercy the Lord is showing on her. Ramakrishna came there to that poor woman. He went to her and said, "I am feeling very hungry. Can you give me something to eat?" The woman, in great joy, offered him her rasgullas. He ate all the 4 with evident relish and he returned to his room. While that poor old lady, she went home with her heart full of happiness. So, sincere prayers are answered. That old lady wanted to meet Sri Ramakrishna. She was very poor. So, what is the second thing you should note? The Lord will not be attracted to your gold and diamonds and other costly things. He wants only bhakti, devotion, love. So you can see this old lady, especially the poor people. The Lord loves the poor people who do not have anybody to protect them. The Lord will always take care of them. Garib Nivas is called. So the Lord is very much gracious to the poor people, the disabled people, people who are in difficulty. Now this old lady is praying sincerely. She wanted to meet Ramakrishna. She was very old. She had bought with great difficulty, as it is told. Nistarani Devi is telling, even to buy that four rasgullas, she had to sacrifice a lot. She was so poor. She has bought. She can't go inside because of the too much of rush. All men were sitting there. She couldn't go inside the room, but came to the veranda near the Nahabat and started weeping. Oh, I'm a poor lady. I have to come from such far off place, and now I cannot have the vision. I cannot have the darshan. I cannot see Sri Ramakrishna. And a poor lady, I bought these rasgullas. I couldn't feed him, whether he will take it or not. So she was with great pain, the divine discontentment. She started weeping for Ramakrishna. That sincere prayer and that weeping for Ramakrishna, that yearning, the Vyakulata, that started pulling the heart of Sri Ramakrishna, the Lord who is there, the Avatara. So when you pray sincerely, when you cry, shed tears for the Lord will be forced. His heart will be pulled. The Lord Himself will be pulled towards the devotee. Now Ramakrishna was pulled away from all those people, the rush. And he had to come out of the room. He started searching. Where is my devotee who is praying to me, who is calling me? He saw, stared towards Ganga. He came down towards the Nabat and saw that old lady there. He approached her, himself came to her and told, I'm very hungry. Can you give something to eat? Not only he gave the darshan, he spoke so nicely. Now she is asking for something to eat. That lady, that old lady, poor lady, had bought that four rasgullas. And now Ramakrishna took it and ate it with great relish too. He enjoyed it. So just imagine the fulfillment, the joy in the heart of that old lady. So how much of grace Sri Ramakrishna showed. So remember, sincere prayer from the heart with tears, that Vyakulata, if you pray, the Lord will immediately answer your prayers. So he ate all the four rasgullas with evident relish too, and returned to his room while that old lady, poor lady, went back to her home with her heart full of happiness. One of the characteristics of the divine incarnation is that, what is that? One of the divine characteristic of the incarnation is that he gives shelter to those who take refuge in him. Sharanagata Vatsala, Sharanagata Rakshaka, Ashrita Samrakshaka. So, one of the characteristics of divine incarnation is that he gives shelter to those who take refuge in him. His all encompassing love is not confined only to human beings. Even the animals find tender shelter with Avatar Purusha. Nistarni Devi witnessed this wonderful grace or wonderful kindness, mercy of the divine incarnation to the animals. So Nistarni Devi witnessed this in Sri Ramakrishna. She told Sister Devamata about it. Once a cat took refuge in Sri Ramakrishna's room at Dakshineshwar. A she cat, a mother cat. It took refuge in the room, Dakshineshwar room of Sri Ramakrishna. Not only herself, with her little kittens too. The mother cat would sometimes sleep on the bed of Sri Ramakrishna near his feet, and if Sri Ramakrishna reached down and touched her with his hand, at once that mother cat, she cat, would get up and seem almost to make pranam, bow down to Sri Ramakrishna. It troubled the master much to know what to do with the cat and her kittens, for he left, for he felt that they did not get proper food in his room or in the temple. So, how shall I look after these kittens? How shall I help the mother? That was the great concern of Sri Ramakrishna. So, he was wondering, Ramakrishna was very much worried about that mother. See what a great cat. It too understood who this great avatara is. We human beings cannot recognize Sri Ramakrishna. Many times we have so many doubts. Here, this cat, you see, it took shelter at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna. So, this cat took refuge in Sri Ramakrishna's room at Dakshineshwar with her little kittens. The mother cat would sometimes sleep on the bed of Sri Ramakrishna near his feet. It would always sleep at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna. And if Sri Ramakrishna reached down and touched that cat with his hands, once that cat would get up and it would seem almost that cat made pranams, bow down to Sri Ramakrishna. Now, it troubled Sri Ramakrishna much to know what to do with the cat and the kittens, for he felt that they did not get proper food at the temple. So, Ramakrishna was very much concerned about the cat, the mother cat, and the kitten. So, one day, when Nistarani Devi came to see Sri Ramakrishna, Sri Ramakrishna asked Nistarani Devi, Nistarani Devi, mother, will you do something for me? Immediately, Nistarani Devi was so happy that Ramakrishna is asking me to do a favor or do his work, seva. So she was so happy. So Nisarani Devi clasped her hands before Sri Ramakrishna with great humility and said, O Master, whatever it is that I must do, please order, I will do it. But again, Sri Ramakrishna asked, O Mother, can you do me a favor? Will you do something for me? I replied, Nisarani replied as before, whatever, please order, I will do it. Whatever it be that I must do, I will do it. Please tell Master. Then Ramakrishna, after taking the promise, told her about the cats and the kitten and asked me to take them to my house, to the house of Nisarani Devi, and look after it, give it proper food and care. Then after that, Ramakrishna told Nisarani, remember, Ramakrishna said to Nisarani that they have taken refuge with me. So see that they get the best of care. So if Sri Ramakrishna takes care of the cat and the kitten, even the kitten was so small, it is because of the mother they have taken shelter at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna. Even if the cats and the kitten are getting so much of care and protection from the Avatar Purusha, then imagine what would be our fate if we take shelter, if we take refuge at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna. Will he not look after us even more greater way? If he has taken so much of care about the cat and the kitten which have taken refuge in his room, then what about us if we sincerely pray and take refuge, take shelter at his feet? He will definitely look after us. He will protect us. There's no doubt about it. And what are the words you can see? The words of Sri Ramakrishna. He is asking Nisarani Devi, will you do something for me? When Nisarani Devi clasped her hands before him in humility, whatever it is that I must do, please command, I will do it, Master. But again he asked the same question. I replied as before. Then Sri Ramakrishna told me of the cats and asked me to take those cats to my house and look after it and feed it. But he told, remember, Mother Nistarani, remember, he said, that they have taken refuge with me. So see that they get the best of care. Ramakrishna is telling Nistarani, remember, they have taken refuge at my feet. So give them the best care. So the Ramakrishna, if you take refuge at his feet, he will give us the best care and look after us and protect us. There's no doubt about it. What a wonderful thing we have come to know. So the only thing we have to do is take refuge, pray, sincerely pray to Sri Ramakrishna. He will answer our prayers and also give us protection. So our heart is full to the brim hearing about this wonderful incident in the life of Sri Ramakrishna. So we have already taken refuge and we know now what is the result. The Lord is already protecting us. Even now, with this redoubled force, redoubled faith from these incidences from the life of Navagopal Ghosh and Nisarani Devi, we shall again take shelter. We shall again surrender to Sri Ramakrishna with this wonderful faith and get his protection and make him come to us and give his vision. So, with this high note, we will stop studying the life of Navagopal Ghosh and Nisarani Devi here. In the next session, we will continue the same. Until then, we will enjoy the wonderful Leela, wonderful grace Sri Ramakrishna has shown towards Navagopal and Nisarani Devi and also to the cat and kitten which had taken refuge at the feet. And those words should be ringing. And what is that? Please take care of those cats and feed them. And remember that they have taken refuge with me, and so see that they get the best of the care. So you, all of us, we will remember. Ramakrishna is telling, remember, those cats and kittens have taken refuge at my feet. We have also taken refuge at the feet of Ramakrishna, and so we will get the best care from Sri Ramakrishna. All the gods and goddesses have to give us the best care because we have taken shelter at the feet of Sri Ramakrishna. So we'll stop the conversation here with a prayer. Om Priyatam Pundarikakshaha Sarvayajneshwaro Harihi Tasmin Tushte Jagat Tushtam Prenite Prenitam Jagat Harihi Om Tat Sat Sri Ramakrishnaarpanamastu. Thank you. Namaste. Om Namo Narayanaaya.